Tzu Chi's Hill School in Turkey conducts online learning for students during the pandemic. Take a look at how incineration plants set foot in Taiwan 30 years ago. Selamat datang ke Diet Headlines, saya Simon Gan. Terima kasih menyertai sesi berita kita. In Turkey, the Ministry of Education announced that it will not only allow students to return to school until September 21st. Tzu Chi's Hill School in Turkey purchased related network equipment to conduct online learning for students.
نهنئ الطلاب بالعام الدراسي الجديد. بدنا نحكي عن التقنية اللي استخدمتها المدرسة الكاميرا.
In Turkey, at our Manha High School, on the first school day under the epidemic, only the teacher reports to school, but no children are seen. Could it be that they all oversleep?
Our school adopts distance teaching so that students can study at home to ensure safety and reduce the risk of infection.
The school has purchased network cameras to allow students to stay at home during the epidemic, and they can clearly see the blackboard in the classroom online. Teachers and students can also interact in the cloud to improve teaching quality and learning efficiency.
Through the internet, teachers and students can take up activities, math class, language class, also do question and answer together online.
These efforts are all to make children feel like they are in the classroom.
Although it is not yet possible to be truly face-to-face, this is one of the choices under the epidemic.
The teacher knows that you really want to meet your classmates and hug your friends. We do the same and miss you all. Let us wait and look forward to a safe reunion in the future.
In Guangdong's Dongguan City, the Thai family living in Humen Town has two children who suffers from muscular dystrophy. Due to the pandemic, their elder son lost his mobility and now relies on his mother to carry him around. Recently, during a visit, volunteers invited the mother and son to do recycling, providing another method of physiotherapy.
Sitting next to Tzu Chi volunteers is Thai family's elder son. Although he looks thin, he still looks normal as compared to the ordinary person. But his mother's action made the visiting volunteers surprised.
He now has no strength on his legs, right? If we help him massage like this, can he regain the strength?
Volunteers found out that not only the elder brother has muscular dystrophy, the younger one also suffers from this. Last year around October, when volunteers made their first visit, the older brother could stand, but visiting him again during the pandemic, volunteers witnessed a worsening situation.
Press here. If he is in pain, we use our hand to stretch it out. We start pressuring from here to all the way up there.
The disease that the two brothers suffers from have left the Thai family in despair. Volunteers are here to teach them proper massage techniques while telling the parents everything should be fine.
You as parents are the role model for your children. You must stay positive like sunshine. Then your body will be in good condition or else you will be exhausted.
Volunteers' visit have removed the gloomy clouds that have haunted his family. Under proper guidance, the children now express words of thanks to their father. In order to help the children rehabilitate, Tzu Chi volunteers invite the mother to bring her children to a recycling station to do recycling. The brothers enjoyed the process while pouring in effort. This made the mother relieved, as she now faces the future of the brother's disease with courage.
In Malaysia, 61-year-old Grandpa Chan's living environment is very bad and is infested by rats and snakes. Upon learning of his situation, she volunteers help him find a new home so that he can have a safe and comfortable place to stay. The grass are overgrown around the house made of zinc metal sheets and wooden boards. The volunteers need to pass through a narrow alleyway before reaching Grandpa Chan Tian Seng's house. The grandpa lives alone. The lighting inside the house is bad. Even when the lights are turned on during the day, it still seems dim.
落水翻嗰時會唔會成條路都浸水咩？浸水啊！
浸下嗰啲蛇走出嚟，啲黑蛇咁大條啊，黑蛇。嗱呢個下邊鬆啦，呢啲板嚟㗎，呢啲咁嘅板，呢啲咁嘅板嚟嘅，下邊通啊，有啲蛇喺下。
61-year-old Grandpa Chan used to work in the funerary service when he was young. He had health issues in his later days, which caused him to lose his job. Life has been hard ever since.
He's not a person who is unwilling to work. He has tried many times to find a job, but because he has cardiovascular diseases, many are afraid to employ him.
Volunteers were heartbroken to see the grandpa living in such a bad environment. They found a new home for him and even repainted the house before moving him in.
These fluorescence lights are too old. I have changed 2 new lights for him.
Without the need to be worried and afraid anymore, volunteers hope that the new home is able to let Grandpa have some peace and tranquility.
I thought there would only be a room and a floor mat, and I would need to sleep on the floor. I never thought it would be so comfortable.
Here's the kitchen. Inside here is where you can cook. We will bring a stove for you soon. If you wish to cook something to eat, you can do it here.
To be able to find a job and live independently has been Grandpa Chan's biggest wish. Volunteers will accompany him, assisting him to seek medical treatment, hoping to make his wish come true. There's a rumor on the internet saying that only obese people will contract cardiovascular diseases. Is that really true? Follow a report as we learn more. Obesity is the root cause of many diseases, as it increases the burden on our heart, increasing the risk of a heart failure. There's a rumor on the internet indicating only obese people will have cardiovascular diseases. Is that really true?
不要吃得太壮、太肥胖了。
因为不运动的人就是心脏会有问题。
High blood pressure, high cholesterol, diabetes, smoking or inherited diseases. People who are obese actually have a higher risk of contracting cardiovascular disease compared to normal people, but it doesn't mean that if you're not obese, you will not contract this disease.
Even a person is slim, there's still the risk of high cholesterol, which must not be neglected. For those who have a high risk of contracting cardiovascular diseases, controlling the blood pressure, blood glucose and cholesterol level is a must. Quit smoking and have a balanced diet will also reduce the risk of cardiovascular diseases.
Those who are in the high-risk group must be more attentive towards their daily life. If you feel tightness in the chest, it might be a sign of cardiovascular stenosis, so you might need to head to the cardiology department for further inspection.
Doctors also suggested that besides being aware of the body mass index, measuring the waist circumference is also very important. The ideal waist circumference for men is below 90 centimeters and for women is below 80 centimeters. Only by maintaining a healthy body shape, only can we be free of the risk of obesity. 29 years ago, the first incineration plant set foot on Taiwan, starting out the era of incineration. As the incineration plants are over 20 years now, they face a challenge of potential change or machinery upgrades. Follow a report as we learn more about the history of incineration plants in Taiwan.
Near the riverside, trash is visible anywhere. Dead pigs and ducks were thrown into the river randomly. This is Taiwan 30 years ago.
At that time, Taiwan don't have a single incineration plant, and we don't have a qualified landfill. Now you think, where has the trash been?
People love to put trash near the riverside. Do you know why? It's because when the typhoon comes, the trash will be swept into the river, and the empty space is available again.
Those years, the garbage mountain formed like this in Neihu near the Jilong River. At that time, the economy took off and populations greatly increased. This moment of time witnessed an exponential increase in consuming goods, but the methods on dealing with trash failed to follow up.
The fire went on for 2 weeks, causing inconvenience to people living in Nangang and Neihu districts.
At that time, we call it the time of environmental caution. There are a lot of problems back then.
So he kept on talking to the government, wanting change.
But we still can't deal with the issue.
30 years ago, the environmental awareness in Taiwan was weak, and change was dealt by burying at landfills. Until the Neihu refuse incineration plant was built, the era of relying on incineration opened, and subbing to that method is the original landfill method.
This is because trash in Taipei have nowhere to go. People are forced to choose a fast method in order to reduce space consumption, which requires technology to cut down quantity.
Following the building of the Neihu refuse incineration plant, both Muzha and Beitou districts have their residents asking to eliminate trash, therefore building an incineration plant there to solve their problems. But the people at the time do not understand eco-friendliness as they continue to build incineration plants under protesting pressure.
Taiwan at that time doesn't have a second path. The land is limited with high population density. If you don't choose incineration, where does the trash go? So incineration is the best method for reducing trash.
The incineration plants definitely have emissions of chemicals, which may cause little pollution. Like vehicles, exhaust emissions can pollute the environment, but the level of pollution is not large enough to impact the entire ecosystem.
As of now, Taiwan has 26 incineration plants. In terms of density, the country ranks high globally. Besides the 2 inactive plants in Taichung and Yunlin, the other 24 incineration plants are under operation. But the location is not ideal, and trash issue appears every year.
Actually, the incineration plants we have here presents a problem. The design to take in trash is lower than the actual trash intake. The extra trash, however, is not spread out properly.
Incineration plants have taken over half in Taipei, New Taipei City, and Kaohsiung. On the issue of dealing with energy, the plants mentioned take over 60%.
Incineration plants are placed in 14 counties and cities, but in Lianjiang, Jinmen, Penghu, Hsinchu, Nantou, and Hualien, incineration plants are nowhere to be seen.
Originally, Nantou County had planned the building of an incineration plant. Hualien did so too, but when the act of recycling started, the entire nation corresponded well. Trash before grew about 3 to 5% a year, but these numbers are going down. Due to this, the central government realized and said that there is no longer a need for building of incineration plants.
But the remaining incineration plants are old, and the trash produced nowadays have different quality and form, different from the trash it dealt with 30 years ago. Old machines dealing with new generation trash has proven to be a tough task.
This incineration plant's heat load is fixed. When it gets hotter, the processing efficiency lowers. So the incineration plants in Taiwan have only 72% efficiency when dealing with trash.
Taiwan produces 9.8 million tons of trash every year. From building incineration plants, the process of burning trash has always been the main method of processing trash, and this wouldn't change in the short term.
Our current method is to hope that the power generated from burning trash can be utilized. This is our highest goal. The process of turning it into energy is to firstly turn trash into fuel, fueling the system so it could burn more trash.
Adding up all the incineration plants in Taiwan, the electricity generated is around 3.5 billion degrees, which occupies 1.26% of the total pie chart. This provides the incineration is not efficient in generating electricity.
The heat efficiency of the incineration plant is less than 20%. On the international scale, there are better incineration plants that go over 25%. Although the progress slowed down these years, other countries grow faster. But we stay here with old technology and modify it. I'm sad that new technology is not coming in.
Most incineration plants in Taiwan age well over 20 years. Pondering on the issue of how to let these incineration plants catch the current trend, this might be an issue that requires an answer now.
In New Taipei City, Sanxia Tzu Chi volunteers promoted an activity to reduce the amount of plastic on Sanxia Old Street, with many businesses responding enthusiastically. Here's more.
In the middle of the day, when tourists have yet to flock to Sanxia Old Street, Tzu Chi volunteers seize the opportunity to visit shop operators to join the Plastic Reduction Alliance.
This time, we and the new Taipei City government jointly organized the Plastic Reduction Alliance promotion event. We just want to be able to clean at the source and reduce the use of plastic bags.
I always want to reduce plastics and be environmentally friendly. Maybe it's just that there are no channels as today you have come to tell us this message as we just want to support it.
Businesses are providing incentives and preferential programs as visitors are notified by a special label. Some businesses even promote vegetarianism.
If it's vegetarian, it's great. For example, this is all vegetarian. If we eat meat, it will increase the methane and carbon dioxide emissions. So if we can, we should be vegetarian to save the planet.
Environmental protection actions are multi-pronged, including the promotion of vegetarian food, reducing plastic, and other actions to save the planet.
In Xinzhuang, New Taipei City, Tzu Chi recycling station is a large street structure without partitions. For more than 13 years, volunteers have used the space well, doing Buddhist chanting and sorting recyclables. Here's more.
It was a shrimp fishing venue with 2 pools. My brother-in-law told me that he renovated a place and rented to us.
The shrimp fishing venue is a place of killing. We turned it into a cultivation ground where people can accumulate blessings.
Originally, it was a business premise that ran past midnight. Since March of 2007, people started to listen to Master's teaching here in the early mornings.
My temper has improved since I listened to the Master's teachings. In the past, I would tell people to shut up if I do not feel like listening to them. Now I won't do that.
Not obtaining what you want is like a great suffering. Every day, the Master reminds us this. After listening to her teachings, we will understand the law of cause and effect.
An idle man has no pleasure. A busy person does not dispute. Wong Meizhen has shifted her focus from Hon Fuying Recycling Station and found new meaning in life.
I'm quite picky. I move my children's belongings in their room. Sometimes they cannot find their belongings and will argue with me. One time the 2 of us argued loudly.
When we teach our children, we do not need to express the role of parents. This way, they will feel that my mother really loves us. They will change without you telling them to do so.
Unexpectedly, Wong has found a way to communicate with her children.
After I did recycling for a while, my children told me, "Mom, you've gone to the recycling station too late. You should have volunteered there sooner." I'm very happy now. As I wake up every morning, I think about coming to the recycling station.
Sorting recyclables, dismantling items, and organizing them, 6-year-old Wu Boqian has spent much time here before he attended elementary school.
I come here to protect the earth. I've taken out 2 screws already.
The volunteers, regardless of their age, have a lot of things to learn at the recycling station. 70-some-year-old Li Faquan has been driving the recycling truck 5 trips a day for 8 years.
In the past, I felt that by donating money, we're giving of ourselves. Now I've learned that we need to carry out work to contribute.
At 3:30 in the morning, Pan Jianjun and other volunteers came to start a day of volunteer work at Fuying Recycling Station.
Drivers are very important. I cannot be absent. It is better that everyone comes to do it. If I don't drive the truck, the recycling station cannot operate. They cannot listen to morning teachings or sort the recyclables.
A shrimp fishing venue has turned into a cultivation ground. Fuying Recycling Station has allowed volunteers to contribute to society from early morning till sunset.
20 years ago, the first recycling station in Miaoli is established at Houlong. At that time, Tzu Chi volunteer Liu Jiasi felt pity for his mother-in-law to do recycling under a roof. So he freed up more than 2,600 square meters of space and dragged 2 containers there to start doing recycling. In February this year, it was relocated to a new place, continuing the effort to protect the earth.
The 2 container houses next to the provincial highway number 1 are the starting point of the Holong recycling station.
At the time when the 9/21 earthquake happened, I went to apply for the container houses. I dragged them back by myself. At that time, there were a lot of people doing recycling here, so I covered it with iron sheets.
20 years ago, Liu Jiasi felt pity for his mother-in-law to do recycling under the roof of her house, so he freed up over 2,600 square meters space and bought 2 container houses and installed iron streets on the side, making the first recycling station in Holong. In recent years, Liu Jiasi is in poor health. The recycling station is temporarily shut down, and the new recycling station is located 1 kilometer away. The new location is only about 230 square meters, yet it was overgrown with weeds, and there were only 3 abandoned houses.
There are a lot of things inside, a lot of waste. We move all the things out, and this material was brought from the old recycling station. We try to save as much money as possible. Only less than 10 people do recycling, so we are very busy because our workload is doubled.
I'm totally wet every time like this.
As volunteers are insufficient, so female volunteers also do the work normally done by male.
技术很棒，哎呀，很稳重，没问题啦，没问题 ，OK 的，很棒的。
The recycling volunteers are of course exhausted, but they work very hard. Yet they are willing to guard this small recycling station in Holong of Miaoli with smiles.
In Holong's recycling station, there are less than 30 volunteers, and most of them are female. But that doesn't stop them from doing recycling, as many of them have great strength and stamina. There are also Tzu Chi care recipients here, turning their heart around to contribute to society. Let's take a look.
The volunteers in Holong recycling station are mostly female, as they demonstrate strength gained from doing recycling.
They call me 150 centimeters. Let me compare with you. Whoa! I have smaller biceps compared to you. You must have great strength.
I'm pressed on this hard, so it won't get loose. If I press on it becomes sturdy, I invented this.
Originally, these items won't fit, but after pressing on it, it can fit into the same bed.
Also looking at this volunteer, she had 3 surgeries at her abdomen last year in October, using thigh muscles in replacement of her surgical needs, as she is never absent from recycling.
I don't want her to be tired. She had a surgery which cuts 20 centimeters in her. It's very hard to see her like this.
Doing more recycling for our earth is good, and it's also good for our environment.
The seemingly little volunteer, Chen Biye, wears a hearing aid. She was once a Tzu Chi care recipient, but now she is a giver.
When I have the chance, I give back to society and help others in need.
Once I saw her say appreciative words to us, I really think that she is a changed person.
This is why when volunteers says recycling brings no worries, they are correct. The phrase is filled with wisdom as they continue to contribute to our environment.
Tzu Chi volunteers in Northern California work together with the local government to provide aid supplies to the foreign farm workers in Santa Clara. We'll leave you with these images. Thank you and goodbye.